Good morning, dear students. I hope all of you are fine and safe. Today we are going to read and understand a poem of Beehive. Before I start today's video, I want to ask about forces of nature. Yes, we all know about forces of nature. These are powerful. We can observe these forces all around us. All forces of nature play a significant role in life of humans since beginning. However, these forces have created challenges in existence of human. For instance, these forces may cause of destruction such as excess rain is cause of flood and violent wind and storm can destruct everything. Thus, the poem we are going to read today is based on one such natural force, the wind. The title of the poem is Wind and is written by Subramanya Bharti. Subramanya Bharti, born in 1882 and died in 1921. He was a great Tamil writer and poet. He was popularly known as Mahakavi Bharti. He was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry. The poem Wind has been translated from Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan, a Kannada and English poet, and well known for his translation of classical and modern poetry. The entire poem is written in free verse. There is no set rhyme scheme in the poem. Later on, I will also explain literary devices which are used by poet in this poem. Students, I am giving you brief idea of this poem so that you can understand the poem very well. Wind is a great motivational poem where the poet teaches us how to be strong both mentally and physically. Actually, the wind is a symbol of the difficulties or obstacles which humans have to face in their lives. The wind symbolizes violence and destruction. This power of wind has been linked to the adversities of life. It is conveyed that weak people break down, but stronger ones emerge out from the adversities. In the poem, he presents the wind as God who destroys everything which is weak. The wind blows strongly and causes a lot of destruction. How can we make friends with it? These lines show that poet is juggling in between two thoughts. First, if wind is a cause of demolition, then how can it becomes our friend? Yes, to understand the poem very well, first let's recite and enjoy the poem. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling house, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives. crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to form the body. Make the heart stead fast. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows our weak fires. He makes strong fire roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. I hope all you have got idea and message which is conveyed in the poem. Dear students, now I am explaining the meaning of poem. For ease of comprehension, lines are divided into meaningful segments because lines are not separated into stanzas. Now, let recite and understand the poem with me. Wind comes softly, don't break the shutters of the windows, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. Listen, students, come softly means blow softly. Shutters means hinged panels used to open or close windows. In these lines, the poet seems to be talking to the wind and requesting it to blow softly. The wind, in its fury, is breaking down the shutters of the windows. He asked the wind not to do so. The shutters protect men from the stormy environment outside. By blowing softly, the wind will show some consideration and allow men to stay protected. When the wind blows, it scatters papers and throws books down from the shelves in which they are kept. Yes, students, move to next lines. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. Listen, students. Continuing his dialogue with the wind, the poet now seems to be annoyed with the wind. He points to the scattered papers and the fallen books on the floor. All this is the result of the wind's fury. He tells it to see the mess it has created and holds the wind responsible for it. The wind blew with such a mighty force that it has torn the pages out of the books as well. However, the poet does not limit his vision to just the interior of the room. The wind is also causing destruction outside the house. He causes the wind of having brought even the rain with itself. Yes, students, let's recite next lines. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings, frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Poking fun at means making fun of. Weaklings, weak bodies or person. Crumbling, destroying, breaking. Rafters, sloping beam supporting a roof. Wind god, symbolic of all kinds of winds. Winnows separates the weak from the strong. Listen, students. The poet continues to talk to the wind. His tone and manner have changed again. Though it is still accusatory, the poet is little bit serious. He feels that the wind enjoys playing pranks on those who it finds are meek, means weak, and are too mild to protest against its ferocity. The wind tears down the doors, the rafters, and at times an entire wooden house. It takes away all the protection they were getting from the roof and the walls that had sheltered them from the harsh outside world. The poet also refers to the hidden symbolic meaning that unfolds itself when we think metaphorically. The wind symbolizes troubles when it blows strongly and suddenly, leaving a trail of disaster in one's life and then leaves as suddenly as it came. It is capable of tormenting and tearing down weak bodies and hearts and leave a person crushed and hopeless. The poet now addresses the wind as some kind of a god who acts like winnow and crushes them all. Move to next lines. He won't do what you tell him. So, come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Listen, at this point, we find a change in the poet's attitude. Instead of talking to the wind, he turns to the reader and tells them to act wisely because the wind has a mind of its own and does not listen to what others have to say. Hence, it is futile to pray to the wind, God, to make any appeal not to do what it is bent on doing. Instead, we should make our own homes with a strong foundation and strong doors so that the stormy winds cannot penetrate them. The implied meaning is what we need to develop a strong personality right from our childhood so that we do not get depressed by any outside turbulence. Yes, move to next lines. Practice to form the body, make the heart steadfast. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. In these lines, the poet tells us the other ways by which we can save and protect ourselves from the wind. We need to make ourselves strong both mentally and physically to face the destructive power of the wind. We need to build a strong heart which can face the pressure of the wind. Once we can resist all pressures and prove to the wind that it cannot be victorious against our strong might and determination, we will change our attitude towards the wind. We will no longer consider it our enemy. The wind can then become our friend. Move to next lines. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. In these lines, the poet describes both the good and the bad effects of the wind. He gives an example of the ill effects which it can cause. It can blow out a fire if it is weak, and if the fire is strong, then it does not blow it out. Rather, it makes it more fierce and strong. Therefore, the poet says the wind can nurture the strength of a person. Metaphorically, it means that a strong and brave person who can face challenges boldly only becomes stronger if he faces even tougher challenges in life. Let's read last lines. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. After weighing the pros and cons, that is, the good and the bad effects of the wind, the poet reaches a conclusion that if we are strong, then the wind acts as a good friend and will add and increase our strength. He says that we should sing songs in praise of the wind each day. In this way, the poet may be trying to be a little cautious in that he should neither overestimate nor underestimate his strength, and nor should be show any arrogance in his attitudes towards the wind god. Students, I hope, dear students, I hope you have understood the poem very well. The message we draw from the poem is that every challenges makes us strong. So we should not run away from our difficulties because they make us stronger. The wind in the poem is the biggest challenge, such as a weak fire which is very easily put off by the winds. On the other hand, a strong fire only spreads with fury, and the wind cannot do anything to put it off. Now, let's check out some of the literary devices are used in poem. First, anaphora. When a word is repeated at the start of two or more consecutive lines, it is called anaphora. In this poem, don't break, don't scatter, don't throw. These are the examples of anaphora. Personification. Wind has been personified when the poet says, you are. He is referring to wind as you. That means he is treating wind as a person. Repetition. The word crumbling is repeated many times to emphasize that weak will not exist in front of strong wind. Alliteration means repetition of consonant sound. Here wind, winnow, want, want. You can also check out some more examples of alliteration. Symbolism. Symbolism means that the thing refers to some other thing. Means we use it as a symbol. Wind here is symbol that refers to the challenges of life. Here poet use wind as adversity which we face in our life. Yes, students, I hope you have understood it very well. Try to find out the answers of questions from mid of the poem. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.